You should be more shocked when we're actually on time.
Right.
Okay, so today, finding video.
So today we are going to talk about, I know a lot of people are planning on Nebula come January. I think we still have a couple slots, not very many.
We have a few slots for the block of the month, and we are doing some complete kits. If you're interested in that, if you don't know what Nebula is, I will be posting about it again shortly. It's an awesome block of the month starting January, featuring Tula's True Colors and some other things, and it's designed by Jaybird Quilts, Julie Herman over at Jaybird. And so if you've been on Instagram and following quilting anything for probably the last 5 months, you've seen a journey to Nebula, and I've posted about it. We've taught three classes using her rulers, and they're all small projects, and it was a process of getting to know the rulers and how to use them.
Right, and how to put these pieces together.
Now, Jen and I hate single-use rulers.
Yes.
I don't do rulers that can only do one project. I
don't like them.
Very anti that, generally speaking, because I feel like, a ruler's an investment, guys. I get that. And so I love Julie's rulers because they can do lots of things.
Oh my goodness, they do so many things. And when you buy one, it'll have a little piece of paper in there that you think is just a label. It's actually a booklet that tells you all the things the ruler can do. So don't throw that away.
Exactly. So today what we're going to talk about is the Nove table topper, which is this one. I taught this class, I don't know, twice or something. It's this cute little pattern. We do have the patterns and the rulers in stock, just FYI. Also, one of the things I want you to not be afraid about with Julie's patterns is that they are written, guys, every detail is in here. Everything. I'm telling you how to pin it, how to blunt your top so that you can lay it, align it just right. It's all here. And diagrammed. It's not even words. It's in pictures, which is speaking to Liz, because Liz needs pictures, not words. Anyway, so this is the Nove table topper as designed
by Julie.
In Julie's pattern. Okay? For that one, we used the Sidekick ruler. Her Sidekick ruler makes 4 different shapes. It has a 60-degree triangle. It has our, what do you even call this shape? The one we use, a parallelogram that goes this way. It can do a half triangle this way and a half triangle that way. So there's 2 different degrees of half triangles. So this is a useful ruler. If you need a 60-degree triangle ruler, this guy works.
And so it does more than one thing.
For lots of things. And I'm telling you, every one of these lines on here has a purpose, and it makes sense. Like, there's these little itty-bitty triangles in here. I know you can't see this, but they are amazing as we work through the project. And like I said, the instructions are all diagrammed. And if you want to check out more of Julie's tutorials, as she's been doing the journey to Nebula, she has posted videos of how to make all of these things on her Instagram, on her website, on her Facebook.
Right. Look
up Journey to Nebula, and there are a billion videos that Julie has made. And so
and she does her cutting and piecing and everything.
Okay, so this is the Sidekick ruler that we use to make the Nove. It has 4 size options on it: 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. And this, my friends, is the Super Sidekick. Okay, this has the 1.5 through 4.5, just like this one does. So if you don't want to buy 2 rulers, don't. And this one will do both of them. See, it just fits right there into that bottom.
But then it gets bigger.
But then it gets bigger. This one goes up to 8.5. And so what I did, you guys, for my tree skirt, I'm going to move this right here.
So one day she decided,
Liz has these random thoughts where she can't leave patterns alone. I know. It's what I do. And you guys have to just put up with what I do. I decided to supersize my Nova. And so I made a Supernova. That's what I call this. It's my Supernova. This is my tree skirt for my Christmas tree. And if you remember the infamous Instagram pic where after I quilted it beautifully, cut a giant hole in it, this is what I did. So that it can, wrap around my tree. Mm-hmm. Although if I think about it, that probably wasn't, well, the hole was necessary. The slit probably wasn't. But anyway. Well, these days with the artificial tree, you just plop it in. Anyway, whatever.
But that's okay. You can put some cute buttons back here.
Exactly. I've been meaning to put buttons on it. Haven't gotten to it. Okay,
to set up
so this is my Supernova. And I use the exact same pattern
Right.
as the Nova.
Same number of pieces.
The Nova works in 3.5-inch strips, which is why the pattern calls for 1/8 yards. The Supernova works in 8. I'm gonna brand this. I can't copyright it. It's her pattern.
This is the Supernova.
This worked. I worked in the 8.5 size, so 1/4 yards.
So what she did is she went with the biggest size.
The biggest size
The
on the
ruler
ruler.
can
So you
make.
take the pattern of the ruler, and I just made it bigger. Although my outer border right here is the same size.
It's the same
It's still the
1.5
1.5-inch strip that's on that one because I felt like it was big enough.
Right.
And really all I was trying to do was make sure I didn't blunt ends in my binding. So it works out. Another fun thing I thought about with this one to make an adaptation for Christmas was if I were to do it again, I might leave these parts off and just have this be a complete triangle instead of 2 half triangles. And then it would be a little bit more of a star without the outer points. That's also an option and would make it a little bit quicker. Guys, this is a one-day project. The Nova is an afternoon project.
Right. And this is the same number of seams, just longer.
Same number of seams, they're just longer. If you want to make this one, I'll tell you fabric requirements because now I know. I use fat eighths out of a fat eighth bundle, so mine's scrappy. But to simplify it for anybody else, what you need is 3/4 yards of a red, 3/4 yards of a green, and if you're gonna go with the blacks, 1/4 yard of 2 different ones. You don't have to use black, clearly whatever color scheme is up your alley. It's up to you. And then 1/2 yard of the background. And I want to say a solid 5/8 of the binding.
There's a lot of binding.
There's a lot of binding to this, partially because, like I said, it's not just binding the hexagon. I had to come in. This part, don't look at my binding closely because it ain't perfect because it was not going to be. You get those inset angles and
It's tricky.
they're a little trickier. I did cut it out as a hexagon though because I'm a nerd.
And corners are easier than curves.
Corners are easier than curves. And mostly because my binding was already printed on the bias. So I didn't want to cut it on the bias to make a curved binding.
Right.
So anyway.
Taking bias print and making it straight is craziness.
I know. What's the point of a bias? Anyway. But that's how we do this. So it's just supersized version of this one. So what I want to show you though, as we do this, so I cut some 6.5-inch strips here and some 3.5-inch strips. I'm gonna make Jen rearrange that.
Flatten this out.
So when you do this, it's really easy to look at the pictures and to skip a couple. But I'm going to show you the one step you don't want to skip, okay? And I'll do it. Let's do the small one first. So this is a 6.5-inch strip in case you want to do the 6.5, and I'm going to show you how to cut that. And this is a 3.5. So we take our ruler and I lay it on here, and we have to, there is some waste in here, guys, because you know what I need? I need a diagonal line right here. Right. I know this is harder to see, and I apologize. And you can flip it over, and the ruler works both directions and upside down even.
Yes.
Okay, so cutting your parallelogram, that's really easy. Okay, the next thing you need to do,
as long as you get all of it.
As long as you get it all. You guys, this is on here. She has you blunt the ends. Do not skip this step. And I'm going to cut a little bit so I can show you why. Why we don't skip this step. See, look at that. Do you see that? Right. Isn't that so cool? I can't show you guys. It's hard to show you. But she, like, seriously, every line on here means something. And they are to help you line things up just perfect. Guys, these projects, there are no Y seams. Nothing scary. We assemble them in rows.
These are definitely beginner friendly.
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
They're not advanced or even intermediate. I mean,
the one thing I might suggest is a little bit of starch because we are cutting on a bias.
Because we are cutting on a bias. So if you best press your things before cutting them, that would be great. But the nice thing about having these ends blunted is it's going to make it so much easier to match them up with the next thing. A lot of times when we sew triangles together, you know, one end has to overlap so far and the other end has to overlap so far. We're guesstimating our 1/4 inch overlap. And we're guessing. I mean, and, you know, we can put a ruler on to measure it, which helps with accuracy. But all of this takes time. And it's still not always totally accurate. So this helps with accuracy.
So these get assembled in rows, you guys. It goes like this and this, then there's a triangle right here. So when you go to pin this together, You're going to flip these right sides together over each other. And what I'm going to show you is the blunted, where this triangle is, hits the blunted end of this red. And the blunted end of the white here hits right here. Right. So there's no guesstimating whatsoever about how to line this up perfectly.
Right.
And this is the challenge with sewing with triangles.
Always.
As far as I'm concerned. Or parallelograms or anything that works on an angle like that is figuring out how to line it up just right. And she has taken the guesswork out of it. And I find that to be fantastic.
It's really nice, and it makes it a lot easier for really anybody to be able to do this. It can, like we said, it's definitely beginner friendly.
Where's my super?
I took it from you.
So I'm going to show you guys, I can cut the same thing out just as fast, but bigger. And like I said, I'm doing a 6.5 inch here. Let's go to that end.
Because that's what was in her little scrap bin last
night. That was
what was
in my scrap bin.
Or Dr. Pepper or whatever it is.
Whatever it is. My morning shot of caffeine is what that is, because I was up too late. Oh, guess what else I wanted to show you guys that's sitting right behind me.
So this is a quilt from Lori Holt's book, Vintage Christmas, called Bringing Home the Christmas Tree. You may have seen, if you've been in the shop, a table runner hanging way up high above the checkout counter that's, well, essentially this row with a red station wagon. We've had that since the book came out. But Liz has been wanting to make the whole quilt, and so she decided, as her project for our retreat a couple weeks ago, that she would make it out of the Prim fabric line by Lori Holt.
I didn't love her cozy Christmas line, so
it just wasn't your color scheme. This is more Liz's color scheme. So she made Bringing Home the Christmas Tree with all of the scrappy goodness out of Lori's Prim collection.
This is a quick project for a Lori project. Just gonna tell you.
You change it. I mean,
it's six car blocks and 4 tree blocks.
So when we left the retreat, Liz had all the cars made and all the trees made. So when she came home, she just had to attach the sashing and put the blocks together. And you gotta understand, our retreat's only 3 days, and Liz and I are hosting, so we're not sitting and sewing all day, like a lot of our guests. So
they just
still able. I mean, you came with a cut.
I did. That's an all-day project.
That is an all-day project. But it's not a forever project. Now, getting something scrappy like this can be tricky, so Liz made extra kits. So if you go to our website...
It doesn't include the book.
Right. You can find the Bringing Home the Christmas Tree kit.
It probably doesn't have a picture with it, and that's because I just finished binding it this morning. So
yeah, she bound our backdrop this morning. Isn't that nice of her? But the reason there's no pattern with the kit is because you might already own the book. And you don't need to buy it again to buy the kit. So if you don't have the book, it's called Vintage Christmas by Lori Holt, and it's also on our website.
Yep. Okay, so bigger, just as easy. And I'm going to come show you guys.
I'm going to sew these together.
What these look like blunted. And I'm going to do it from this direction. I know, Jen's not even helping today.
I'm not even doing anything today.
What did I just do? I kicked it.